Good morning everybody and welcome back to my channel. So today I have kind of a fun different video to share with you. I have two new fragrances in my collection that I wanted to share with you. One of them turned out to be a blind buy fail, unfortunately, and I also wanted to share with you all of my tobacco fragrances and tell you which ones I think are the better buys, which ones have the best performance. So if you guys are new here, hello, my name is Alithia. On this channel we talk mostly about fragrance, so if that is your thing, definitely make sure to head on down and hit subscribe. Make sure that your notification bell is turned on so you don't miss any of my uploads. And if you haven't already, feel free to head on over and follow me on Instagram, where I share a lot of little tidbits of my life that I don't normally share here on YouTube. And without further ado, let's get started. Okay guys, so these are the fragrances I'll be chatting with you about today, and it looks like in hindsight we are being sort of taken over by two houses in particular, which would be Tom Ford and Van Cleef Arpels, but there are a couple of other companies I will be chatting with you about today. And like I said, this is going to be partially a tobacco perfume video and also a mini haul, because there are two new fragrances in this video that I'm going to be chatting with you about. So before we get started, of course, I will let you know the candle that I am currently burning. I'm still working away at my marshmallow fireside, and I'm also sipping on some coffee in one of my favorite coffee cups, and my nail polish is a Sandstorm from Sally Hansen, one of my absolute favorite nude nail polish colors. Okay, so the first fragrance that we're going to talk about is one that I have blind purchased. So this one is brand new to my collection, and unfortunately this one did turn out to be a fail. And this is from Van Cleef Arpels Collection Extraordinaire, and this is Bois d'Iris, or Bois d'Iris, however you like to pronounce it. I think it's Bois d'Iris. So this one I had really high hopes for. So before I get into what it actually smells like and what I think about it, this is my third Van Cleef Arpels fragrance. I have blind purchased every Van Cleef Arpels fragrance that I have. I also have Orchidée Vanille, which I absolutely love, and I have Bois Doré, which I also absolutely love. So I had really high hopes for this one, and I honestly thought it was like a slam dunk. Like, I really had no concerns at all blind purchasing this one based on the note profile, and I've heard a couple of really good reviews about this one as well. I also love the packaging. I've always really loved the Van Cleef Arpels packaging. It's so pleasant to look at. So let's get into what this fragrance smells like. So the notes in here are, there's iris, there's driftwood, there's vanilla, there is some incense, there's, I believe, myrrh, there's benzoin, I think. So this is quite a resinous balsamic type of fragrance. And if you look on Fragrantica, the notes that they say are the most prominent is the iris, and then the driftwood, and then the vanilla. However, on my skin, this pulls very, very woody. That driftwood comes out so strongly. When I first sprayed this, I thought to myself, oh, this is really nice. This kind of reminds me of like a lipstick type of a scent. It does have a bit of that lipsticky sort of vibe, like an expensive tube of lipstick, which often happens with iris fragrances. But then what happens with this one is, once I get it on my skin, it pulls very, very woody, almost to the point that it overtakes the iris and it overtakes the vanilla, at least on my skin. And the type of wood that's in here, the type of driftwood, or that driftwood note, is not pleasant to me. It's a beautiful scent, it's a beautiful fragrance. I think a lot of people would like it, but on my skin, this makes me feel like I'm putting on a tube of lipstick in a sauna. I'm in a sauna, or I don't know, it's too much wood, and it's not, to me, it's not a very pleasant wood. I don't know, that's my take on it. I don't know, I'm kind of at odds over this one. Like, in the moment right now when I smell it, I think, oh my gosh, that's beautiful, but it definitely has that driftwood sauna type of vibe to me, and it's just not my favorite scent, and I really don't know how often or when I will wear this. I do have to say that this one was a bit of a fail, unfortunately, which is too bad, because it's a beautiful bottle and I really wanted to keep my Van Cleef Arpels streak going, and I just can't do it. This one is, I'm gonna have to sell this one for sure. Yeah, so that is my first one that I wanted to discuss. Unfortunately, it was a little bit of a fail. Okay, so the next fragrance that I'm gonna talk to you about is not a blind purchase, and this one is one that I'm really happy to have in my collection. This is from Tom Ford. This is Fleur de Portofino Eau de Parfum. This fragrance, you guys, first of all, I have to start by talking about the bottle. Look at how beautiful this bottle is. It's one of the most beautiful bottles I have in my collection, honestly. And I usually don't like bold, bright colors, but I just absolutely love the color and the transparency of this bottle. I really like the shape of these Tom Ford bottles. So this fragrance, you guys, to me, it smells like an expensive woman on vacation. That's what I get from this. That pretty much sums it up for me. It makes me feel like I am vacationing somewhere very luxurious and very ritzy and fancy. So this has a gorgeous citrusy opening. There's some tangerine, there's some lemon, there's some bergamot, there's some orange leaf. In the middle, you have some white florals, including orange blossom and jasmine. You also have some osmanthus, which gives it a little bit of a apricot-y kind of a vibe. There's a little bit of rose. And then the base is more sweet and kind of ambery and vanilla and balsamic. And I don't get a ton of that balsamic, like ambery base. I do get the florals from this pretty much throughout the entire life of the perfume, which I really, really like. But you do definitely get a little bit of that honey, a little bit of that vanilla in the base. And I really like it. It lasts forever. It smells expensive. It smells sophisticated. So I'm just going to take the lid off and give myself a refresher as well here. The floral notes that are in here smell so expensive to me. They just smell so sophisticated and ritzy. There's also a note of black locust in here, and I don't know what black locust smells like by itself, but apparently according to Fragrantica, it's fairly prominent. I don't know, it's kind of like a tropical, citrusy, gorgeous fragrance for summertime for women. So really, really enjoy this one. I get an easy at least 6 to 8 hours on my skin, which is amazing for a citrusy floral scent for the summertime. I love it. I could see this being an easy go-to for me in the summertime. I don't know, I feel like it's quite fancy. I wouldn't want to wear this just for every single day running errands. It's kind of a vibe. This perfume gives me a bit of a vibe. But I think it's really beautiful, and I don't have anything quite like this one in my collection. So that is my second fragrance that's new to my collection, Fleur de Portofino from Tom Ford. Okay, so now let's get into my tobacco fragrances. So as you can see, I have 4 full bottle tobacco fragrances, and I have 2 decants. And of the 2 decants, both of them are ones I either have decided I want a full bottle of for sure, or I'm still kind of on the fence about them. So I thought they were worth including in today's video because they represent a different type of tobacco scent that I don't have in my collection currently. So first of all, let's talk about the 2 decants. So the first one here is from Perfumes and Decants online.com, I believe, which is from the United States. And this is Tom Ford Vanille Fatale. I have liked or loved the way this smells since I first got this decant. I believe I got this almost a year ago now. I think I got this in March of 2020. And there's something about it that I just absolutely love. This is kind of a somewhat complicated, it's kind of a mishmash of tobacco and other notes. I believe there are some boozy notes in here. There are some spices in here. There are, I think, florals in here. There are gourmand notes. This one is quite smoky, spicy, tobacco, nighttime boozy. It's quite intoxicating and very spicy and very unisex, and I really, really like it. There's something about it. Again, this one is kind of a vibe for me. Yeah, and I think I would only ever wear this out for those kind of occasions. I don't think I would wear this for any, like a regular date night, everyday wear. It definitely would be kind of an occasion, specific type of occasion perfume, like a nighttime kind of a lounge type of atmosphere. So this one I really like, amazing performance, and I've just kind of been sitting on it. I don't know if I just don't love it enough to get a full bottle quite yet, or I don't know what it is. My boyfriend he's not crazy about this one, so that might have something to do with it, because he did tell me he wasn't like head over heels for it. So it is quite expensive, so I don't want to invest in a perfume that he's not going to enjoy if I actually wear this one. But yeah, so I am just holding on to this one, and we'll see what happens. But this is, out of all the ones I'm showing you, this one's probably the most complicated and kind of the most interesting in terms of all the mishmash of notes that's in there. But yeah, really, really good. The second decant that I have is one that I recently got from Lucky Scent, and this is Initio Side Effect. This one is quite a lot less complex. It's a very simple note profile. This has rum, vanilla, tobacco, and cinnamon, I believe. And this one is extremely bold. It is so bold. It is so intoxicating. It is so in your face. Very unisex. I think personally it does lean a touch more masculine. I love the way this smells. I don't know if I will love how I feel when I wear it, because I haven't really had a chance to wear it yet. I did put it on my skin, and all I can say is it is extremely bold and intoxicating and kind of in your face. Definitely a big projector. And this also, again, has a vibe. It's got a certain vibe. It's got such a deep, dark sexiness to it and a sex appeal, and lasts forever on your skin. I'm just kind of on the fence about this one because I have, as you can see, other tobacco fragrances already that I love that are a little bit more wearable. I just don't know if at this point it's worth the investment. And will I wear it enough? You know what I mean? So I'm kind of holding on to this one. I would really like a bottle. I'm just like struggling with the cost and the return on investment, like how often will I be able to wear it? So why don't we talk about I think the first one that I got, which was Van Cleef Arpels Bois Doré. This is the first fairly dominant tobacco fragrance that I had in my collection. This is beautiful, you guys. This is classy. This is smooth. This is appropriate for formal occasions, black tie event, date night. It's beautiful. It's not one of those smoky, boozy nighttime fragrances that makes you feel like you're gonna get into some trouble. You know what I mean? Like I feel like Vanille Fatale, I feel like Vanille Fatale is the one you wear when you want to be a little bad. You know, like a little risque, a little bit scandalous, sexy, not like you want to act like that, but you know what I mean. It's one of those kind of fragrances. It's very sexy in like a boozy, smoky nighttime way. This one is more sexy in like a classy, sophisticated way. I love this though. So this has notes of tobacco, it has vanilla, it has a really interesting note of mineral notes in the opening, which makes it smell a little bit cold and a little bit like it says mineral-esque. It does have a bit of a crystalline nature to it. This is so beautiful. The way that I like to describe this is that if this fragrance had a temperature, it would be cold. It is a cold fragrance. It is not a warm, cozy, cuddly, by the fireplace type of a tobacco. This is a cool, refined vanilla fragrance. It's beautiful. It is so beautiful. One of my favorites. Easily one of my favorites in my collection. I also think the bottle is very classy. Lasting power, not incredible on this one, and it definitely doesn't last as long as some of my other ones. But I absolutely love it. I really have no complaints with this one at all. So this one I would say is more of it really does smell very niche, very interesting, and very refined and very beautiful. The second one that we'll talk about is MAC Velvet Teddy. This one is fairly new to my collection as well. I basically purchased 3 MAC fragrances to compare and contrast them, and this one turned out to be my absolute favorite. So this one is quite heavy on the honey. It's quite heavy on the tobacco. You could argue that it is unisex. I know I've heard a lot of guys like to wear this one. In my opinion, this one is a little bit more feminine than it is masculine. What I really get from this is a very strong honey and tobacco presence. So it's a very sweet tobacco. This one has pretty good performance. I have no complaints with performance on this one. It projects really well. It lasts for at least 5 or 6 hours on my skin. And I really, really like the way this one smells. Yeah, I do. I really, really like the way this one smells. If you've ever smelled Zara Rich Warm Addictive, or yeah, I think it's Rich Warm Addictive, it's very similar to Rich Warm Addictive, but this one is, I would say, a little bit sweeter and even a little stronger in the tobacco. It's just a delicious, sweet, feminine tobacco is what it is, and I really, really like it. So yeah, that is my MAC Velvet Teddy. The next one that I'll go over, because it is very similar to that one, is Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille. So this one is very similar to MAC Velvet Teddy. This one has much better performance. It lasts a little bit longer. I would say the projection is moderate on this one. I haven't had a lot of opportunity to test this one out. I've only tried it on my skin once or twice. But the other difference with this one is that this one has a little bit more spice than the Velvet Teddy. It also has a bit of a cacao note in there. So there's like this powdery chocolate, chocolatey accord that I absolutely love. And this one probably leans more masculine. Again, this is a unisex vanilla tobacco fragrance, but like I say, this one definitely does lean a little bit more masculine compared to the Velvet Teddy. And I think that's because in here, I get a much stronger chocolatey kind of a presence, a much stronger chocolatey, spicy tobacco, whereas the Velvet Teddy, I get more of a honey tobacco. So I do find that that's the difference. This one's a little bit more feminine, doesn't last as long, less masculine, and there's no chocolate note in here. There's no chocolate, there's no spice. I think there might be some spice, but I don't pick up a lot of spice in there at all. So this one, you guys, I absolutely love. I have wanted this in my collection for years. I smelt this a long time ago when I was in Las Vegas, and again, I really pick up a lot on the spices. I pick up a lot on the cacao that's in here. So it's like a chocolatey, spicy vanilla tobacco. That's what it is. This one's a lot warmer. I would say it's more seductive. I would say it's more sexy compared to the Velvet Teddy. I would say this one is also more along the same lines as the Vanille Fatale and the Side Effect. These ones kind of go in your smoky, sexy nighttime category. So yeah, I absolutely love Tobacco Vanille. I would say if you're on the fence and you're trying to choose between Velvet Teddy and Tobacco Vanille, they smell so similar, you guys. If you don't have the budget for Tobacco Vanille, I say just go ahead and get your Velvet Teddy. They are so similar. They give you the same vibe. They give me the same vibe. Like I say, one's just sweeter and one's just spicier and more powdery. Yeah, so that's my take on those two. I do think they're worth having both for myself because the Velvet Teddy I could see myself wearing for like more everyday wear, especially in the wintertime, the fall and the wintertime. Whereas the Tobacco Vanille, I think I would wear this one more for special occasions, nighttime, going out, that kind of thing. Okay, so moving on to my last tobacco fragrance. This is Maison Margiela Jazz Club. This one is really new to my collection. I actually traded this with a subscriber for another fragrance that I had, and this was one of the best trades of my life, and I would have bought a full bottle of this regardless. I was just kind of sleeping on it for some reason, and I shouldn't have slept on it because it is one of my favorite fragrances currently in my collection. I had smelt this a long time ago, liked it, but didn't really know if I liked it enough to buy it. You know, trying it with a mask on in Sephora and they're not letting you spray it on your skin and stuff like that, it just isn't the best experience. But after I've gotten it in my home and I've sprayed it on my skin, I have completely fallen in love with it even more than I loved it before. So this one, I have told you guys, if I had to pick the single sexiest fragrance in my entire collection, I honestly think this would be it. This is a tobacco dominant fragrance. There's also quite a lot of vanilla in here, but it does have a bit of a twist to it. It has a spin on it. It's got some fresher notes in the opening. There's actually a little bit of a white floral in the opening, which is neroli. They have a little bit of lemon and pink pepper in the opening. In the middle, you do have a little bit of a herbaceous kind of spiciness from some clary sage. You do have vetiver, you have rum, but the rum is not strong and overpowering. But this fragrance to me is woody, boozy, vanilla tobacco, basically. It's a woody, boozy, vanilla tobacco. And oh my goodness, you guys. There's nothing quite like Jazz Club. I have said before, the only thing they could do to make this better is improve the performance a little bit. Not that it's terrible. It's one of the better replica fragrances I have tested in terms of performance. But I think this is a 10 out of 10. Like, aside from the fact that I only get about 5 hours or so before it's very soft, and I wish it was more like 9 or 10 hours, you know, or I just wish it stayed stronger longer. That's all. It is a strong fragrance for the first few hours. It does project pretty well for those first couple of hours, and then it kind of starts to die off and become a little softer. That being said, I haven't sprayed this all over my clothing yet. I have only tested it on my skin. But, oh, you guys, I don't even know how to describe this. I love it so much. This is one you just have to smell. The notes do not do it justice. You really need to smell it to understand the full capacity and the vibe that this gives you. It is incredible. Honestly, I like this better than Vanille Fatale. I like this better than Tobacco Vanille. I like this better than Bois de Rey. This is my favorite tobacco note or tobacco fragrance in my entire collection. On a man, oh, to die for. Like, don't even get me started. For myself, I love it. And if anyone's wondering why I keep this hideous toilet paper roll looking thing on here, it's because otherwise I cannot smell the cap. Like when I come up to smell the bottle, it's hard to smell it if you don't keep this on there. This is really what holds the smell for me, and sometimes I will spray it just to keep that smell going. But because I'm somebody who likes to come up to my fragrances throughout the day and just sniff them for no reason, that's just how I am. I like to do that. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Amazing. I cannot say enough good things about Jazz Club. So just to quickly summarize this, if you're looking for a sweet tobacco fragrance that is affordable and has pretty decent performance, that would be your MAC Velvet Teddy. If you're looking for a more formal upscale, and by the way, I'm sure there's a lot more tobacco fragrances than just these ones. These are just the ones I have in my collection. But if you're looking for a more smooth, sophisticated, refined, unisex tobacco that's interesting as well and really, really beautiful, I love the Bois Doré. It just doesn't have the greatest longevity in the world, but it's not terrible either. If you want something fairly mass-pleasing, can't go wrong, pretty affordable, you know, considering, so sexy, I would say go with your Replica. And if you want a little bit more of a chocolatey, masculine, spicy vanilla tobacco, then I would go with your Tobacco Vanille or even your Vanille Fatale. Very Tom Ford. It's a very Tom Ford fragrance. And if you want something bold, wow, intoxicating, in your face, unisex, sexy, seductive nighttime, then I would go with your Initio Perfumes Side Effect, because this one really is one that just will not be ignored. It cannot be ignored. And lasts forever, and huge performance with that one. So yeah, that is my tobacco fragrances. So that is it for today's video. I hope that you guys really enjoyed. I would love to hear your thoughts on these fragrances down below. If you have tried either of them, do you have a preference? And I'll see you guys all next time. Bye for now.